So now here he is, the man, the myth, the legend, Jiggy Jaguar.
Well, they're dropping like flies today here on the world famous big program. Get a hold of us online at JIGGYJAGUAR.com. Rhode Island Zone 990 WBOB. The Mix on Tuesdays. Get a hold of us each and every day over there at JIGGYJAGUAR.com. We had a guest we were going to be talking to, Steve Langemo, I believe. He is from Colorado. He got his time zones messed around. So he is going to be calling us here in about less than 10 minutes. So we will talk to him here in just a few. We will also, I guess we aren't going to be talking to December Monroe, who was supposed to join us for a grand, fantastic edition of Fucking Around with Porn Stars. But she will not be with us, so we will just talk to Charisma De Luca, Sauce the Boss, and Messy Face. We'll talk to all three of them today here on Fucking Around with Porn Stars. So, we are slowly but surely adding content to our website over there at JiggyJagTV.com. Now, Jigman Freud Television, as I like to call it, JiggyJagTV.com. That is the best place to see what we are up to over there with Jiggy Jag TV. That is a tremendous, tremendous spot. We have got, we are slowly but surely adding the television show back to JiggyJagTV.com. We also have a brand new spot for our porn star interviews that we do, that everybody is jealous of, especially out there in Olathe, Kansas. Fucking Around with Porn Stars. It's actually called Fucking Around with Adult Stars, and it is available over there at YouTube. That's your best spot, YouTube. The YouTube, as they say. And I don't know who's saying it, I don't know why they're saying it, but they are indeed saying it. They're getting it in where they fit in, which for Jeeves is almost nowhere. But nobody knows who Jeeves is anymore. Jeeves at one point was a big tall guy who lifted weights. I don't know what he's doing nowadays. I think I might have blocked him on Facebook, or he blocked me on Facebook, or something happened on Facebook. On the Facebook. So I don't honestly know what's going on with Jeeves. But we have a guest who is going to join us here in just a few moments. Steve Langemo, I believe is how you pronounce the gentleman's name. He will be with us. He will be getting it in where he fits in, which, by the way, is almost nowhere if you're Jeeves. So, he is, of course, a guitar person, a composer. He's based in Colorado. He has a brand new jazz fusion album. It was just released on Guitar One Records, and Brendan asked him about getting in touch with me for an interview. I don't know who Brendan is, but that is awesome. I'm glad that Brendan got with him and said, hey, you need to get in touch with Jigman Freud, the master debater, the cunning linguist, and the admirable alliteration, and get it in, as they say. So we are going to do this. We are going to go to some music from Steve Langemo, and while we patiently wait on him to connect with us via the old Skype. Yes, the Skype-a-rooney. And we are going to connect with him. He is a interesting individual. He is a guitarist. He's a composer. He's an instructor. We'll talk about all those things. Right now, let's go find... I don't want to play any clips. I want to play the actual song. So, weight of the world. It's right now. And it's here on your big road. That is Weight of the World. And our guest, the versatile guitar player, composer, and instructor based in Colorado Springs, Colorado, Mr. Steve, I hope I pronounced his last name right, Langemo, will be joining us here in just a few on our big broadcast here, coast to coast and border to border on iHeartRadio. And, of course, you can find us each and every day over there at JIGGYJAGUAR.com. So, Steve Langemo is supposed to be with us here in just a few moments, so we are going to go to another track of his. It is So You Said, and it's here on our big program. Cut it short because Steve is right there on Skype. Holy smokes. Look at that. We are going to go to Steve. He joins us live here on our big program. And you're joining us coast to coast and border to border on iHeartRadio today. And also 990 WBOB out there in Rhode Island, of all places. And we have got a great guest with us today. Steve, welcome to the program. How are you, sir?
I'm very well. How about you?
Pretty good, actually. You're on your video, you're sideways. I don't know how the hell you accomplished that, but that is fantastic.
On live video, so I don't know how we accomplished that.
There we are. Okay, you were up. Okay, now you're right there. Look at that.
All
fantastic.
Right. Okay. Cool.
So, we just got done playing a few of your tunes. Tell me a little bit about Weight of the World. We played that first here on our big program.
Oh, wow. Okay, so that was from a recording that I did about 4 years ago.
Okay.
Not off the recent release. But yeah, so that was the same drummer that I recorded with on my new thing, the same saxophone player and a couple of different guys. But yeah, that was just it's just a sort of modern jazz thing that I was hearing that in my head for a long time, and it took me a while to compose that and get it out, but it turned out fairly well. So, but yeah. So yeah, some weird changes in the tune, kind of bitonal, I guess. If there are any musicians out there listening, kind of floats around in and out of some different keys, and just a nice thing that I heard in my head that I got out. So yeah,
that's awesome. That's awesome. We have got a great guest with us today. He joins us live here on our big broadcast. So not only are you a jazz composer and all these things, you're also an instructor. Tell us a little bit about this.
I've been teaching lessons forever, and I think that's a natural thing that a lot of musicians maybe end up doing, partially like vocationally, right? Because a lot of us gig. I probably play, at this point, I'm probably still playing over 100 live shows, gigs per year, probably well over 100. But, really, a lot of that stuff pays pretty well. But if a musician is relying solely on live playing, maybe that is not necessarily the income that everybody wants to have. So a lot of us, I think, fill in the gaps from teaching. But I started teaching at a pretty early age. I think I was 18 or 19. And that just carried through. So right now I'm based in Colorado. I live in Colorado. And I just own my own teaching studio in an office building. And I have a ton of great students. Most of them are older and advanced players. And I guess that's kind of my day job around the recording work that I do and around the live playing that I do. So
that's awesome.
And I did study, I went to music school. I got a master's degree in jazz guitar, and all the way through music school, I was studying, essentially pedagogy, which is, the study of teaching what you do. So I taught under some really great instructors as well. So, that's the thing I've worked on as much as my playing is my teaching and my material for teaching and my approach and stuff. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. So talk to me a little bit about some of the different things that you teach and how you approach the whole teaching aspect.
I'm a pretty well-rounded musician and guitarist. I spend a lot of time in music school studying, even classical guitar up to a fairly high level, although I don't really do that seriously anymore. And I've played in probably every genre of music, every kind of group. And I sight read well and, have a good grasp of theory. So I have a wide range of students. I teach some beginners, but most of my students are, I'd say, probably more serious kids or adult students or advanced kind of semi-pro adults. So at the beginning, there's a lot of things that somebody starting on guitar. It's a lot of just mechanics and, learning the basics. But with my advanced students, it could be targeted to maybe styles that they are into. And oftentimes for the advanced students, it almost always turns into sort of one part guitar, one part theory, or one part guitar and one part composition, depending on what they're into. And improvisation is a big part of it. But it's just really like, I think with my advanced students, thoroughly learning the instrument, learning your way around really well, and then combining the theory with it to kind of be ready for anything, I guess. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. We have got a great guest with us today. He joins us live here on our big broadcast. How do we find you online? Where is the best spot if we were going to be sending people to look you up on the web?
I've got a website, www.stevelangemo.com. That's probably good. I'm making an attempt to keep that updated with live dates, and I've got a lot of recordings up there and stuff. And we'll be adding some extra projects and stuff that I'm involved in. Facebook is always good. It's just really just my personal Facebook page, but I post some music stuff on there as well. YouTube as well. You can look me up on YouTube. I'll be adding some videos there as well. So
that's awesome.
And then the recordings, that album that I did 4 years ago, as well as the one that was released several weeks ago, you can find that on Spotify, Pandora, Amazon, iTunes, really anywhere where you stream music. So
that's awesome. So let's talk about this latest album. Tell me a little bit about your writing process and bringing this to life.
The writing process, I guess I spent some time in solitude at home. And I've spent a lot of time playing jazz, studying jazz. Also, a lot of rock guitar, blues guitar. So I'm probably a amalgamation of a lot of different influences, but I got deeply into jazz. So I would say that a lot of the music that I write is kind of modern, straight ahead to fusion. A lot of the sound, I think, leans heavily on a lot of the musicians that I listened to and still listen to. The giants of sort of jazz guitar, fusion guitar, Scott Henderson, John Scofield, Mike Stern. A lot of that, I think, still comes out in my writing. I did have some really great jazz composition instruction when I was in music school too, so I learned a lot. So now it's like I really just think about what a general vibe or something that I'm going for. I would say the thing that has changed quite a bit is maybe the process, where 20 years ago, if I was trying to write something, well, I didn't really write anything good 20 years ago, but if I was trying to write something, I would sit with the guitar and it would be, putting notes on staff paper. Which still might get done, but I'm oftentimes now doing the demo at the same time that I'm writing. Basically sort of writing in a DAW. I use Logic, but Pro Tools and things like that. There's various things that people would use. But I'm oftentimes writing and inserting things into Logic right away, you know. And even though I'm not a bass player, or piano player, or a drummer, the technology is such that I can quickly be doing demos that can sound pretty much like what I want the finished product to sound like. So I like that because I think hearing, you know, if you have some wild idea compositionally, being able to sort of hear it back immediately with an approximation of what a band would sound like is really helpful and inspiring, because then I can tell, hey, this works for me and this doesn't work for me. But if something works, being able to sort of listen to it is fantastic and build upon it. So I think that's what's changed, and it has been really helpful, is the use of technology in the composition process. So, and then if I'm going to take that to the studio like I did for this album, I'm usually doing pretty fleshed out demos, and then everything is notated as well for the other musicians. You know, I'm not showing up at a rehearsal and saying, hey guys, it goes like this. Like, I'm using, you know, a notation. I mean, obviously the music is fairly complicated. And I'm dealing with some really great players who everybody can read really well, and they're expecting, you know, charts that they can read easily. You know, so I do put some time into the program that I use is Finale. It's a notation program, you know, kind of industry standard notation program that I've been using for 20 years. So
that's awesome.
You know, I do great charts for the guys and send out demos. So then, you know, we have some rehearsals and then go to the studio.
That's awesome. We have got a great guest with us today. Steve joins us here in our big broadcast. So this new album, what has been the reception to the album so far?
I'm not exactly sure. I mean, the probably one thing I am not fantastic at is the self promotion in maybe the biggest way. So I'm super busy as far as other gigs I do. You know, so when it comes to a project like this, I'm getting a little help from these Guitar One record guys, obviously, that are sending some stuff out. The reaction has been pretty great as far as I've been getting messages from some people. But as far as like hustling reviews and stuff like that, that's something that I'm in the process of working on. So, you know, the paparazzi is not necessarily waiting outside my door or anything for my, you know, jazz, yet another jazz fusion guitar record out there. So
that's awesome.
But you know, my intention is not necessarily to make my millions from records like this. You know, it's I get paid well to play live. I teach a lot of lessons, so for me, getting the music out is, you know, number one, kind of getting the music out for me, but also sort of, you know, making sure people are aware of me for other reasons too, like the teaching and the, you know, being hired for other recordings and stuff. So
that's amazing. We have got a great guest with us today. He joins us live here on our big program. So, so with this new record, what are you wanting people to get out of this new record?
It's probably a niche, definitely a niche market. I mean, I think a lot of this stuff, I don't know if it's solely music for musicians or not, but maybe that's the target audience. You know, definitely the my guitar playing has progressed in a certain way where I'm pretty happy with my playing on the record. But I guess if a guitar player picked up this record, I guess I would want them to maybe appreciate my guitar playing, but I don't think it's just an instrumental guitar record in the way that, like when I was a kid and I would get a Joe Satriani record or Steve Vai record or something, it was like all the solos were the guitar player. You know, those albums, you know, the shred guitar albums, Shrapnel was a record label that I got a lot of stuff from, you know, a lot of great players in the 80s recorded on. And it was always like the solos were all the guy that wrote the music or whose name was on the record.
Yeah.
And while some of my stuff is a little more rock edge jazz, it's really got that jazz element where there's a lot of other strong soloing by other people, you know? So if somebody wanted just a pure guitar record, it's like there's points on this album where you don't hear much guitar for a minute or two while other people are soloing. And that's kind of the idea. But I think, you know, if anybody got anything beyond it other than, hey, these guys can play well, or this guy is another guy that plays guitar well. You know, a lot of people that play guitar well, as we know. I would maybe want people to appreciate the compositions as much as anything. You know, because I've listened to a lot of, you know, instrumental guitar players, a lot of instrumental music, and there's some players that I really like who maybe their writing is not on the same level as their playing. You know, that you know, some instrumental players that you know, the writing is just a vehicle to shredding on guitar or improvising. And I definitely spent a lot of time on some of these compositions. You know, that I wanted the melodies of the tunes and the chord progressions of the tunes, or the vibe of the tunes, to really say something, you know. And then there's the soloing or improvising and group interplay, which hopefully is cool. But really compositionally, I guess I'd maybe like people to, you know, maybe appreciate some of the things that are going on there as well, too.
That's awesome. We have got a great guest with us today. Steve joins us here in our broadcast. And so, Steve, how do people buy your music?
Wherever you find music. I guess iTunes, Amazon, you know, whatever you're looking at. I don't have a Bandcamp page or anything like that. I just kind of leave everything up to, you know, where I have it placed as far as iTunes. You know, and any place where people can buy music. I still have not gotten physical copies as far as CDs of this recording yet, and I probably will, but you know, I think the world is going in the way of obviously streaming and
yes,
you know, being able
yes.
to download music. So I will probably shortly be printing up physical copies as well to sell at some gigs. But, you know, my experience with the last one was, and I'm sure a lot of musicians could attest to this, are that a lot of us end up with a lot of extra boxes of our CDs in our basements or
yes,
or our garages, you know.
Yes.
So, yeah. So, you know, it's like I feel like if I'm, you know, when I'm 80 and I'm looking for some extra coasters in my house or whatever, I'll have boxes of them. But anyway, as of yet, I don't have any physical copies printed up. So,
tell me a little bit about your live gigs, because you make a lot of your income through live gigging.
Yes, and a lot of it is it's a wide range of stuff. And really, when I was a kid, that's kind of what I set out to be able to do. You know, I was never a singer. You know, when I was a kid growing up in the 80s, to me, in the music I was into, to me, a singer was like, you know, Rob Halford from Judas Priest, or you know, Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden or something. So, you know, as a kid, I thought, man, I'm never going to be able to, that's what a singer is. I'm never going to be able to sing like those guys, you know. Well, you know, I didn't listen to enough Bob Dylan or Jimi Hendrix to realize you didn't need to be, you know, an operatic male singer to be successful. But anyway, a lot of what, some stuff I was attracted to when I was pretty young was, I remember being 12 or 13, and I would stay up every weeknight and I would watch like David Letterman and watch the David Letterman band, you know. And I remember always looking at these guys going, man, these guys they're not famous really in the word, in the way that like they're household names, the guitar player, the drummer, and in the Dave Letterman band or the Saturday Night Live band or something. But I remember always watching these guys and thinking, wow, they're not like household names, but they're working in music on a high level, and these guys can play anything. It doesn't matter what artist comes on the show. Like, these guys can back up anybody, and they're killer, and they're reading charts. And I remember thinking, I got to learn how to do that, because I thought, wow, if I could be one of those guys, then I could always work. I could play music, be around cool people, and always work. So, that was a thing that I really focused on when I was younger, was like, man, I got to learn how to read, and I got to learn how to play all these different styles, even if I don't initially love them, right? And for where I ended up, I think that was a good path to be on, because in addition to being able to teach a lot of styles, a lot of the gigs that I do are all over the place. So this summer I was kind of back to doing. Hang on one.
You're good. You're good.
1 second. I got to get rid of this extra call. Hopefully you can still see me there. So anyway, this is a very long answer to your question.
No, go ahead, brother.
A lot of the gigs I've been doing this summer have been like corporate band gigs or like these wedding band gigs, like high end, wedding band sort of gigs, which sounds silly. But oftentimes these things are paying $500 or $600 or $700 or $800.
Yes.
For going to a gig, right?
Yeah.
And I've got another guy that I do a lot of corporate event work with, which Colorado is a great place to work because there's these resorts all over, and people are coming here to get married, or they're coming here to have their corporate, events or whatever. And I got another guy that I do a lot of corporate work with, those kind of things, where I play mandolin and he's an acoustic guitar player and singer. And it's fun, but it's stuff that all pays pretty well, So I think there's a lot of people that could say, well, you can't really make money in music. But, these guys might be out there trying to play 4-hour bar gigs for $100 a night or something, which I will do that if I get to play jazz or something. Then it's musically rewarding. But a lot of this other stuff is, really actually very monetarily rewarding for what it is, But you have to be, oftentimes you might have to be able to, like a wedding gig, you might show up and you might have to play solo guitar on a wedding ceremony and an hour jazz tail set, and then be able to play, pop music from, Motown to present stuff or whatever, and being able to cop the styles. So, so I enjoy that. And luckily where I live in Colorado, there are so many great musicians that, a lot of the guys that are even on these wedding gigs are really, really heavy players. So the level is generally really high, no matter what you're doing. So now winter's rolling around, and like starting this week, I'm getting back to, playing some jazz and fusion gigs. Like I got a gig coming up this week where I'm playing largely music that I write with a group, So some more of that stuff going on too. So to me, it's a balance. If I can keep the highly paid, whatever sort of gigs going on, and then balance that with some musically rewarding gigs, then I'm generally in a happy place. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. So, which do you prefer? Do you enjoy the performing over the teaching, or talk to us a little bit about all that?
I enjoy it both. I mean, I guess if the live playing is good, like if it's a good band or a good situation or a good gig and the sound is right or whatever, I probably enjoy that the most. If it's a situation where, maybe the gig isn't the greatest, or some of the musicians are maybe up to par, the sound situation is bad or something, then it's, then there's a little more go through the motions, but I generally enjoy myself to some level. Teaching, I really enjoy for a lot of my students. I'm actually in my teaching studio right now, and I just did an hour lesson with a really young kind of jazz guitar prodigy student that I have, and that is thoroughly enjoyable. So I think both things can be equally kind of equally great, or I have fun doing both, but I think it's the balance. If it's if I'm teaching 60 lessons a week and not playing live, then that can get old, but then again, I've had some weeks this summer where I've had 5 gigs in a week or whatever, and that that gets a little mundane sometimes too. So I think it's just having the balance and being able to break things up.
That's awesome. So what are some of your goals for the rest of the year?
Oh man, the rest of the year. We've got a couple months left. I've got a lot of great gigs coming up, musically great gigs. Now that it seems like the kind of corporate event and wedding season and a lot of that stuff that I was doing is over, I just have a lot of great gigs coming up with some different people. But I've got some, like I said, some jazz gigs where I can play a lot of the music that I wrote with some really great players. I'm on some things with some other similar musicians in the region doing some of their music. I've got a really great band that I play with based in Denver with a young singer. It's his band. He's 24, and he's got an album coming out next month that has a pretty big push behind it, and he's a soul funk singer. And I co-wrote the album with him. So that's coming out at the end of October, and I'm really excited about that because it's a different kind of project where, we co-wrote the album together, but he's not an instrumentalist, he's a singer. So the music is all me and the horn arrangements. It's a kind of a throwback 70s funk soul type of record. So I did a lot of horn arranging and wrote lyrics and arranged background vocals and things like that. So that was a pretty big project that I'm really happy with and really excited. And the kid's a great singer, and he's got kind of a team behind him. So unlike my jazz guitar record, he's got a team behind him and a booking agent, and they're really
fantastic.
Making a go of this record when it comes out. So I'm really excited about that. We're doing a CD release show for that at the end of October, and then I think there's going to be some great gigs and hopefully some traveling and touring with him. So that's another thing I'm deeply involved with that I'm excited about. So.
Well, Steve, I really appreciate you taking as much time as you did today and chatting with us. Enjoyed the music before the interview, and we will definitely talk to you soon. Have yourself a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you, man.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it, man.
Appreciate it, brother. There he goes. Fantastic. Fantastic. Steve Langemo, I think is how you pronounce his name. I made him do it at one point just so I could get his name right.